Tell the truth. Tell the truth.
Information is power.
All right, everybody. All right, everybody. Peace. Peace, everybody. All right, everybody. Peace to you. This is the Information Man Show. This is going to be an incredible conversation tonight. I have a guest tonight, my man George Makem from Philadelphia. Black power to that brother. He's on with me. About to bring him in just in a moment. But what I want to do is a test right now, because you always want to make sure that things are sounding right. My voice. Are you hearing my voice clearly? Is there any distortion in my voice? Because if there is, I've got to make adjustments. So put a 1 in the chat room if you can, if the sound is coming through clear. If the sound is coming, okay, sound is excellent. Good, good, good. That's exactly what I want, everybody. I want excellent sound. So what I want to do is bring on my man George Makem in, and I'm gonna give him a clap as we bring him in. I want to appreciate everybody that's here. Let me give. We got my man, Brother Moses, who's coming to the house, giving me the super chat. I appreciate that.
Thank you for the super chat.
We got a view is a view. Okay, we've got Brother Duvian. I see AC in the house. We got Von 11 in the house. Back to the Basics is in the house. Let me see. The class life is in the house. Peace to you, sister. The Chris Thomas show is in the house. Peace to you, brother. Let me mod you up and respect that, brother. That's a brother that I got to bring onto the show as well. He's got a great show himself, YouTube show. You need to check that brother out as well. Great brother. I'm going to bring him on. We're going to shoot the breeze as well about a few things. And so the topic tonight is you've been hearing about it all over YouTube. It's been buzzing. Some people have been in their feelings about it. Some people agree with it, but this is whole notion of a high value man. What is a high value man? And my man George Makem, I had a chance to see a video that he did where he really broke it down on a real basic level. And I just had to get him on here and to go deeper into where he was coming from with this whole issue of high value man. Let me do something real quick just to run over a few points. Some say that a high value man is a man that can control that's able to control his emotions, to handle himself intelligently, self-awareness, self-management, social awareness and relationships and management. He has poise. He has confidence, sort of a leader amongst men. Okay. One who knows his purpose. But a high value man, some would say, is a man who is a producer. He produces. He's able to focus, produce, and not let anybody get in his way. He has influence on others. You've heard these terms before. He has influence within people within his circle. Hell, I'm a member of a fraternity, so I have a large circle that's all over this country of people that I can connect with. A high value man, according to what they say on in the Google and all that, is that he takes care of himself, well groomed, well dressed, handles himself very well. He's a man that people around him believe in him. They get the feeling that he's got leadership. He's got the it quality. And I said it before, usually high value men, or people say alpha men, are men who lead other men. He's a man has, like I said, high self-esteem. He generates his own self-esteem. It does not get generated from outside of himself. It's within himself. These are just some of the basic things. He has a secure attachment style. And then, of course, you hear these terms about money, how much money you should be making in terms of being what we would consider high value. These are all subjective because we know that you are worth, you have your wealth is also based on where you live in the country. I live in California, so the price of living is higher here than it may be somewhere in the South. So your money could go a lot longer in other parts of the country. So let me just stop right there, bring my man George Makem in right now. I just wanted to go over that as a highlight and bring the brother right on in. Brother George, how you doing, man? Thank you for making time for me tonight.
Yeah, what's going on? I believe you laid it all out. We can roll the credits.
No, brother. No, the stuff that I said here, I just made a quick summary over some general terms that you can find when you Google and you look into these different websites about this. But what I want from you, because I wanted to give the general terms, but now we're about to get the grassroots terms. Now, before you get into it, George, you have been doing some fantastic things in Philadelphia with youth. I see you got the Urban Nerds. I see I got to give me one of them. I'm gonna have to talk to you about buying me one of them jackets, man, and promoting what you're doing. But tell folks about what you're doing in the community there in Philadelphia.
Yeah, this mogul, this is my nonprofit 501c3 organization foundation that we have. We're promoting Black intelligence back into the community. One thing that we decided to do was not march and just complain. We decided to put together a program and make them cut the check to to us, where we could take this money back into the community and actually start developing our own children. It's up to us. This is high quality. This is high value stuff. You have to. Well, that's basically what we're trying to do. We're going on college tours. We're getting kids into science, math, and the STEM programs. We're creating a robotics team and a debate team. We're trying to work in conjunction with Drexel University to create the robotics team, and we're being sponsored to take kids on college tours from urban areas that would never even see the inside of a college. We got to get our children to the point where they're able to compete, and we're also developing history courses where we teach kids what it is to be Black, give them a frame of reference of what Black culture is. Urban Nerds want to teach kids that nigger culture ain't Black culture. You can be intelligent and have swag. You can be a nerd with swag. When I was growing up, a nerd was synonymous with being corny. It was synonymous with being something that you didn't want to be. But I noticed something. When I was cutting up in the street and getting locked up, facing life sentences and all that kind of stuff, I remember writing letters to the judges saying I would act right, I would do everything right, I would yes, your honor, no, your honor, walking right, talking right. Why did it take me to be locked up and in trouble to become a nerd when I could have just became a nerd in the street and been
Mhm.
productive
Yes,
for
sir.
my community? So urban nerds is redeveloping our youth, changing the mindset of our youth. Lastly, I'll say, um, one of our slogans: "You don't need more policing; you need to change the mindset of the youth." So that's what urban nerds is. If we can get children to be more like nerds rather than being more like gangsters. So the onus ain't on the children. The onus is on you adults. You have to support
Tell the
urban,
truth.
because
All
if you
right,
ain't
brother.
supporting urban nerds, then that it is what it is.
Right on, brother. Telling the truth. Brother George Makem, I gotta ask you this question, brother. You see what's been going on around the YouTube streets and Black YouTube as it relates to the whole issue around high value men. There are some brothers on the YouTube streets that are saying, "Hey, you know what? Can't no one person, or there's no one definition that can define what a high value man is. Is it, some would say it's money. Some think that it's how many women you can sleep with that you can command, which is not true at all. But the only sticking point that I have with it personally is the money issue, because we know that you can earn money and money can be gone tomorrow. And the reason why I put in my thumbnail the mindset, we have to get it's about your mindset as a man first
Well,
that brings you to that level. So I want to have you speak about high value man. Go ahead, brother.
well, high value man is not surrounded around money, because you can have money and be a social misfit. You could be a piece of crap. You could be. I could have a lot of money and beat my wife every
Right.
night and abuse my children. That that's not a high value man. A high value man is an observer of his surroundings, and he's a producer. A high value man is consistent. A high value man wants for his brother what he wants for himself, and he works in tandem with other men in order to build things. A high value man also has disciples being raised up and coming behind him to keep the cycle going. So the problem that we have is in the Black community, bands though what we've been through as a people, what we consider high value is sort of different from other groups, because the other groups are coming through intact culture, and they have systems already set in place for them before they, a lot of them before they even born. Their parents have certain things set in place. They have an intact language. They have an intact culture that dictates how they treat each other, how their economics work, how their spirituality work. We don't have all of it. We have, so it's we have in our culture, unfortunately, right now we have a thing where it's anything goes, and we're actually competing against each other. So a high value man for the Black community in a system of capitalism is a man that understands community building. He understands family, and he
Mm-hmm.
understands the power of developing Black boys, because Black boys are the future protectors and providers of the community. So a high value Black man is a father, a husband, a developer, understanding the importance of maintaining his seed.
Mm-hmm.
He's uh, he wants for his brother what he wants for himself. When you look at these definitions of high value men on YouTube, I tell people all the time, get off the YouTube stuff so much and live in the real world. Because on YouTube, you could be the butcher, the baker, the candlestick maker. You could be any goddamn body and
That's
don't have
right.
to prove nothing. You don't have to show and prove.
Right.
So like what you see on YouTube is not a reflection of the real world all the time. People just on here just talking. And when you see these so-called, how can you be a high value man when you're not in control of your destiny? Most of us are these so-called high earner men. They're working in other people's corporations where they're one bad quote away from being fired. Most of these men that may be six-figure earners still live above their means. They got houses that's not paid for, cars that's not paid for. So you lose your job, you back to what? You're back to nothing.
You're back to square one.
You're back to square one. So you're a high value what? You're a high value man based off of white acceptance. So like we got to get out of this mindset. No, high value men are men that's willing to work with other Black men to build and develop. How, you know what a high value man would be?
Go right ahead,
Men,
brother.
men in the black community that create their own infrastructure and create their own economics. When a brother coming out of HBCU can go to that group of high value men and get a job starting at 75 to 80,000 a year, because these men don't work together to create something. The white man did it, so we got to go to him to become a high value man. See, the standard of being a high value man for most black men is predicated on working under a white man. So how does that make you high value? See, like, we got to put things in perspective and be honest. Nobody can tell me I'm wrong. Now, you got some black men that are doing their own thing, but for the most part, most black men, their high value is predicated on being a part of the system. And my thing is, we got a lot of talented brothers, a lot of educated brothers, but these brothers don't want to work together to bring that talent, work together and merge that talent to actually create something larger, where we can become the owners of our community. How can we call ourselves high value men when the communities that we come from, we don't own shit in it?
Right. Now,
Other
you may be considered a high value man because you're making a lot of money. You're making a good salary in the corporate America. Maybe you have worked hard all your life to get to being a self-made man. But this is the thing I want to put on the table, brother George, is that nobody gets to where they are without someone helping them. No man is an island to himself. It could have been a teacher, your father, your mother, an uncle, the man, the brother at the barbershop, the old man who might have inspired you. So a lot of times when you talk about high value men, we have to understand that what makes a high value man is not just the fact that he's able to command a lot of money, his circle of influence, his leadership, but you got to understand, where did he get that essence from? Because they say that there's born leaders. Yes, but there's something in the environment that drives someone to want more out of life, drives someone to do better, to reach high levels. There's something that happens to one. It's not just by accident versus someone who was born into money versus someone who had to build themselves towards that. George, what is your thoughts about that?
well, it goes like this. No matter, we talk about white supremacy a lot. No matter how much, whether we like it or not, the world
Yes.
is the world. And
Yes.
listen, the world is conquer, and everybody's looking to eat something. That's just the way the world operates. And
Okay.
the white man is considered so-called high value around the world because guess what? He owns every goddamn thing. He's in power. He's in charge. He's in control. They fight amongst each other as white people, but one thing they will do is come together as men to maintain power. Black men don't understand that. See, what we call high, see, just think about it. What we consider high value is not shrouded in power. It's shrouded in having a job and making a paycheck, not power, not owning things, not being a CEO and owner of a corporate structure. So what I'm saying is our thought process of what we call high value is predicated on white acceptance, not ownership. So when you see an Arab man, he represents a group of men, not an individual. When you see a Pakistani, a Mexican that come into our communities, just think about it, right? We got a lot of educated black men today. All black men are not in college. There's a lot of educated black men, right? How come these educated black men? Just think about this, right? I'll use Clarence Thomas as an example, right?
Yes.
Clarence Thomas is a man that's been in the Supreme Court for over 20 something years now, right? Almost 30 years, right?
About
Since
that.
92, something like that, right? 91. Clarence Thomas, something I would call him a coon, a sellout or whatever, right? But Clarence Thomas' parents grew up poor. He wrote in his book, he talked about the racism that he saw and all these different things, right?
Right.
But if you take a Clarence Thomas, you take a Shannon Sharp, you take a Harry Belafonte, a Sidney Poitier, all these black men, right? Let me ask you a question. What's stopping all of these intelligent, talented, whether they coons or not, intelligent, talented black men from working together to build something? They all of them rather be under the white man's structure instead of working together. You put Clarence Thomas on one side, Harry Belafonte on another side, but both of them are still under white acceptance. It's not coming together to compete against white.
Right.
So when I'm looking at that, I'm like, okay, Harry Belafonte, he's looked at as an icon and a great man, but they don't. Where's the Black New Line Cinema?
Right. Well, we know that in what was it, 1917 or 1919, there was the film company. I think it was Lincoln Films.
Yes.
When black folks owned a film company and made their own movies. And I don't understand why we can't get back to that kind of level. But let me do this right here. Let me say peace to the Roger Report. He super chatted me.
Thank you for
I appreciate
the
you
super
coming
chat.
through here, brother. It's been a minute since I've seen you, but thank you for being here. We got AC who super chatted me. Thank you, sister.
Thank you for
She
the
says
super
they
chat.
also made it seem like high value men only choose their women based on appearance and not based on the value she adds to that man. Let me just say here, and I heard Jason Black say this, that as a man, we shouldn't be chasing after women. The things that we do to build ourselves up.
I was going to get to that.
And the things that we do to build ourselves up and the things that we acquire in life by just working hard, that attracts women to us. We don't need to chase women. The reality is that women are attracted to men that are confident, are doing things. For example, I was going to say this, brother George. You talked about the black father in the community. When I was growing up, to me, as a young man, the men in my community, because I grew up in an old school community where everybody raised you, the men in my community, from the barber to the old men playing checkers in the garage and sipping on Johnny Walker Red, they were all high value to me, even if they didn't have money, because they contribute to steering me to be where I am today, George. They stabilized me. They stabilized the community. We didn't have a lot of fuckery that we got going on now in the community that I grew up in. That was high value. Because it helped me out as a man. Go ahead, brother.
See, it goes back to and I'm gonna link this into actually picking a woman, right? I'm gonna link this right in. And I heard the Black Authority's assessment, but I'm gonna break this down, man.
Go ahead, break it down, brother.
This is the thing, man. I use the Clarence Thomas and them scenario for a reason, because you have black people that's had some form of success, and a lot of them come up from the rural South. They saw hangings, they saw white women accuse black men of certain things, and when we got a chance to get out and do our thing, we chose white acceptance as black men. We chose to be their Supreme Court justice and marry a white woman. Like, we didn't love our people enough to marry black and build families when we seen how they was destroying families, how they was killing black men for even looking at a white woman. We chose to do this. Now, what does all this mean with high value men? It means a lot. What it means is, in order to have something of your own, where you're competing against the system and capitalism, and you're respected. See, you become a high value man when the other men of other groups respect you, not the women.
Right.
See, this is where we get the game twisted. You become high value when other men of other groups fear you and respect you. If they don't fear
George, say that again. Repeat that. People need to hear that again.
You become high value when men of other groups that's competing against you fear you and respect you. Not the women. It has nothing to do with the women, because women are going to go under whichever men are in power anyway. So the thing is, like I said, when I want for my brother what I want for myself, and we begin to build together on righteous footing, women show up, because the men are the standard setters and the protectors.
Right.
A man is protection, direction, and correction. So a woman naturally is going to gravitate towards masculine problem solvers. That's why a lot of times women gravitate towards the so-called street guy in the community, because he's looked at as a problem solver. He's looked at as a guy that can solve her problems for that time. He's looked at as the alpha amongst the males of the group in the community. So she gets turned on by him, because in his circle, he's the biggest producer in that circle. So the thing is, if men aren't working together in tandem to create and build, and you don't have to respect it. If I only respect you as long as you work for me but not competing against me, then you're not a threat. Yeah, you can wear your suits. You can work in my company. I give you a 6-figure salary, as long as you ain't trying to work with that other black guy to compete against me. So no,
Right.
you're not high value. That it's a sham and a scam. That's why black men are on YouTube crying and complaining. Because if you was high value, you wouldn't be on YouTube crying and complaining.
Well,
It
wait,
wouldn't be.
stop
But
right there because that's one of my pet peeves. The background that I come from, the things that I've gone through personally in my life. When I first stepped into YouTube, I was actually shocked by how much brothers on YouTube were sort of complaining about a lot of stuff. And I was like, this is kind of weird because the black men that I hang around with, grow up with in the streets, in my community, in my organization, we don't talk like that. We talk in a confident level. Now, this is no shade on anybody, but it was just it was a culture shock for me personally. And the same thing with this. My thing is, no matter what someone is saying on their channel, if it doesn't apply to you personally, you shouldn't get shook by it if you know it doesn't apply to you because you know who you are, what you're doing, right? You may disagree with what the person is saying, you don't agree with their philosophy, but you got to be confident in yourself. Now, George, this is what I got to bring up, man. This is important. When people talk this high value standard about how much money you got to make, your influence in your circle, being a leader of men, right? Or being a producer, all these different things, George. Are we living in a fairy tale? Because the last time I checked, if you really want to get down to high value as it relates to money, fame, and riches, then you have to look at the 1% in our country. And if you're technically not a part of that 1%, meaning the 1% is the only percent in this country that actually has the influence where they influence not only the country, but the world. And they run in a very small circle of other billionaires and such. So if you're really not a part of that, then what are we talking about when we're talking about high value when it comes to money? Because even if you're making 100,000 or 80,000 wherever you live, that's like peanuts to the guys that are like in the 1%. So you're really like, what are we talking about?
well, again, YouTube is a place where you can come and say anything you want and don't have to show and prove.
Mm.
See, the thing is, YouTube is a space where you got people giving and I'm drawing a correlation. YouTube is a place where you can talk about relationships, but never prove that you was even in a relationship for 5 minutes. You can you can give advice, all kinds of advice. Never show your family. Like you don't have to show nothing about yourself. You can talk about health and eating right, and never show you that you work out. Never show any of that, and you have people following you. You can do all this kind of stuff on YouTube, and don't ever have to show and prove. You can scam people. You can do all kinds of stuff. So people just find good talking points. And I'm gonna tell you something. These guys that brought this stuff up, they actually win it because it's being talked about all over YouTube. So they sit in little circles and think of something juicy or something that we can bring up that would be spicy that get people talking about it. So they know that high value man stuff that they're pointing out is garbage.
Right.
They know it.
Carl for president. He said 40. He said 1% is really the 1% who run shit. Carl, you're right. You're absolutely right in what you're saying there, brother. And welcome to the program. I've seen you before on other platforms.
But the thing is, this is the thing. I'm gonna take the 1% out for a minute, right? And I'm gonna
Okay.
tell you
Yeah.
why. In this
Okay.
argument, they're irrelevant.
Okay. Go ahead, brother.
The problem that you have is this, man, the system of capitalism. These other men that we're competing against, they're looking at you. See, a man. Listen, everybody in the chat room, listen to me, please. A man is judged based off of how he produces for his community, his family, and himself. So when you look at these other groups, if you go to the Latino community, they got whole communities. They got stores and banks and everything.
Yes.
These Eastern Europeans, these Russian Jews own all kinds of real estate, everything. What does the educated black man own?
Right.
What is the marriage rate of the educated black man? And when he is marrying, he's marrying into somebody else's, some other high value men's women. See, we have to
Absolutely
pay
right.
attention to this. See, this is the thing. We get mad as black men when we see black women with other men of other races, right?
Right.
So when you see these men of other cultures that got their own stores, that's sending their children to college, that's raising high value boys, what do you think they're saying when they see you with their daughters? See, that's what I'm saying. So what I'm saying is, it's simple. The reason why I drew the Clarence Thomas and the Harry Belafontes, the Susan
Yes.
Rice, and all these so-called educated folks with these white people, when you got educated, white people love their people enough to marry within their people for the most part, especially ones
Hmm.
with money.
That's
But you
true.
love their people enough to even marry their people when you won't even marry your own. When you get some form of success, you won't even marry your own and go and build. See, what I'm saying is, when it comes to African American people, our thing
Hmm.
is unique. It's different from everybody else's.
Right.
Like I said today in my live stream today, you never see the Jews trying to reunite with Germany, do you?
No.
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 So if we know that we had a history worse than with the Jews and the Germans relationship, why are we trying to be their Republicans and their Democrats and marrying with them instead of, once we get the education and the stature, why we're not marrying black and building so we can produce more high value? We're being more and more assimilated, and you wonder why the black man is not respected. You wonder why when the Nick Cannon, who's been on TV for years, does make money, when he make mistakes, they make that black man apologize.
They made him pay the price because they control the infrastructure in which he is putting out his show. You're absolutely right. Now let me bring something else up too, George, in keeping with what you're talking about, and you probably know about this. Let's look at the Ty Lawson situation, the young man that played basketball in China in the CBA over there in China. And then he went into some club or whatever, and he was getting freaky with an Asian woman, and he put it on Twitter. And what did they do? They got rid of him. Now we know that in China there is racism. They booted the Africans out and tried to blame African brothers and sisters for having coronavirus and bringing it to their country. They tried to blame the Africans and booted them out. Right now, this is the thing that I can appreciate. The Chinese got rid of him because they said, we're not going to allow you to slut our women out. Even if they're willing to participate in the fuckery, we're not going to let you may do in America. And I know people got all inside of themselves about that. But I said to myself, George, why can't we as black men do the same thing when it comes to our women and not allow other men to disrespect our women and slut our women out?
That's very easy. Watch this. I answered it in the beginning. When remember I mentioned Clarence Thomas. Remember I
Yes,
mentioned
yes,
Harry
sir.
Belafonte.
Yes,
Remember
sir.
I mentioned Susan Rice,
Yes,
Mia
sir.
Love, and all of these educated black people.
Right.
They want to be in the white person's infrastructure, so they don't have a frame of reference anymore of what it is to be black.
Yes, sir.
They know the struggle, but they'd rather be on that side. See, the thing is, if you're building black, you're going to protect black. So this is the thing. The Chinese may not even give a damn about that goddamn woman. But the thing is, they protecting their turf and domain. Listen here, your black ass ain't coming over here with this. This is our shit. You're going to behave the way we say it.
The way
You know
we
why?
say it.
Because they say themselves as high value, and what they deem is important to them.
Right.
What? Just think about it. What is important to, and what when you dealing with these so-called educated black folks, what's in what black culture is important to them? See, and this is what I'm saying. So we look at these things from a wrong aspect. Like we live in America, so you're going to be a part of the system somewhat, right?
One way or
One
another.
way or
Yes,
another, you're
sir.
going to be a part. But groups come here to compete as a group. When we got the best of our people, like Susan Rice was the national security advisor. Why are you married to a white man? Like
Mm.
you're old enough to remember historical racism. So you mean to tell me you've
Mm.
seen all of this racism and all the best you can find was a white man? This is a problem. So how does this equate to the conversation? It equates a lot because when you see our people,
Yes, sir.
we don't love our people enough to build, to become what you would consider high value. See, because high value is passing it down generational. High value is acquiring generational wealth to be passed down, not wearing a goddamn suit that a fucking Italian made, Not wearing some shoes that a Italian or a Frenchman made. That's not high value. Riding a car that some other groups made. High value would be inside the lab trying to produce your own car. Shit,
Right.
we made the first pacemaker. We made every goddamn. We
Well,
made the
well,
transmission in the car.
let's look at Benjamin Banneker. Benjamin Banneker made the first clock. He laid out the whole design of Washington D.C.
The
He not
almanac.
and let's not forget the fact that the in Great Britain they made the Big Ben clock in his honor. That's why it's called the Big Ben clock. A lot of people don't know that. Now George, this is keeping with what you're talking about because I heard you say this. Why do you think? Let me see. I'm probably answering my own question. In my 50 years living, I've always seen black people use Eurocentric values and talking points to create a system that we claim applies to us. But I never hardly see it. I don't see enough of it being a system that we created, and we have a history of creating things. But for some reason, we like to take Eurocentric value. Now, what is the Eurocentric value? Let me say something here. In America or in European culture, they focus on the individual, not the collective. Okay, folks? They focus on the individual, not the collective. They are focused on the rugged individual. So in American society, when they look at their histories, they look at individuals, the rugged individual. Whereas for black people, it's always been us looking at the collective whole. And the high value, to me, is just another example of how you take individualism, rugged individualism, and you apply it and say, well, this is what a high value man is based on Eurocentric values, individualism, damn the collective, but the individual, without realizing that the individual can't get to where they are without a collective supporting them as well. Like Dr. King, Malcolm X, none of those leaders could have done what they did without a collective supporting them. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, and within that, you always had the divisions. So you want to always the problem that you have is when you're dealing with this type of high value that these men are talking about.
Yes,
these
sir.
men are fully integrated into a system that they're not willing to compete against. They're willing to just join it, and they're going to get mad at you for not joining the system with them. So they don't want to hear none of the stuff that, oh man, Dr. Amos Wilson, the hell with Dr. Amos. They don't want to hear none of that. They want to be. See, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. The majority of folk, man, if we got off this internet right now, went out into the streets, and we went and just walking down the street asking the average person, yo, do you know who ADOS is? They don't know, brother. Let's just walk Oakland. Let's walk through San Francisco and just ask the average brothers and sisters if they know what ADOS is. They don't know what ADOS is. They ask them, do they know what's reparations? They don't know that stuff, man. The majority of our people just going to work every day, man. They fully integrated and insulated, man. They don't want change. They just want white people to stop calling them nigga to their face. That's the majority. Like a lot of black folks may complain about racism, but they can't even conceptualize a life without the white man. And this is the thing. This is why we use our frame of references is always surrounded in white and white, your Eurocentric things, not something of our own. We can't even conceptualize a life outside of this. So now when brothers like me and you come and talking outside the box, we're looked at as crazy. We're looked at as troublemakers. Oh, I don't like those pro-blacks. When every right you got in America came from a pro-black. So your idea, your idea of high value is always going to be under the consciousness of what a white man is.
Right. And George, let me piggyback on what you said. When you talk about the rights that brothers have and sisters have in this country because of what pro-black people did to fight for them, when you talk about high value and how much money you can make, well, you wouldn't be able to make that money if doors were not open to you to be able to make that money either as an entrepreneur or working in corporate America, because it was pro-blacks who
Hey,
were out there marching and
they
breaking
said
down
there's
the
some
doors.
feedback. Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah,
They said,
there's you know, I think it might be coming from I don't know if is it from
hold
me or
on.
is it from
It might
George?
be for me. Let me see. Let me
It
see.
might be from you. Yeah, there's some feedback.
Yeah, hold on for a second. Because I plugged my phone up to the. I'm on my phone.
Oh, that's probably what. Yeah.
All right, hold
So
on. Hold on. Let me drop down and come right back up.
okay. So everybody, thank you. I'm sorry about the feedback that George was coming from George Makeham's. I didn't know he was using his phone, so that was causing feedback. So hopefully he'll come back in, folks, on his computer or something of that nature. Hopefully we can change that. And I think he's coming back in right now. So let me bring him back in.
Ask him if
There
that's
he
better.
is. Okay. Say something, George, to the people.
Yeah, ask him if it's better. I can't see the chat room.
Okay. Does it sound a little bit better, everybody?
I might have to take it off the charger.
That could be part of the reason. Everybody in the chat room, do you hear any harsh feedback? Just let us know. Let me check my. I didn't need to do. What am I doing here? Let me check something. People are saying I'm focusing on the screen here. Let me see, because some of these black men are too busy. Okay, so do you hear a lot of feedback? Put a 1 in the chat room if you hear a lot of feedback.
Or if it's fine, just let us know.
Yeah, if it's fine, just say it's fine. If it's not good, then put a 1 in the chat room. But George, what I was saying is that there were black people who look down on pro-blacks, who are the ones that made it possible for you to earn these high salaries in corporate America, who made it possible for you to be able to open up a business and make money to gain that high value, the money that goes along with your high value. So while you make fun, okay, looks like they're saying there's still feedback.
All
I'm
right, wait a
seeing
minute.
some ones in chat.
Yeah, wait a minute.
Yeah. So while you're let me just put myself up front here. So while you're talking about this is how much money you should be making, you got to keep in mind there were people who sacrificed for you to be able to make the money that you make and gain the lifestyle that you gain, because certain laws were changed. People marched and sacrificed themselves. That's all
Well,
I'm trying to say, folks.
well,
Go ahead.
people, people, these type of people we're talking about now are going to be the ones that's going to tell you, "Oh, that was a long time ago. Let it go. Oh man, you worried about stuff from the past. You got to move on." And I said something earlier today that ruffled a lot of feathers, but and a lot of our actions, and a lot of people don't realize this because we don't work together and we don't build institutions and infrastructure that people like William Still, James Fortin, and all them left for us to do.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, we actually proved the white man some of his words right. Like the white man said, remember, the white man said he civilized us. He named us. He gave us his language. He gave us his culture. You
Okay.
know, he gave us all these different things. And when we
So
refuse, yeah.
let me stop you just right there. I hate to stop you. Somebody made a good point. They're saying that it may be because you don't have headphones in.
No,
I got no headphones in right here. You
yeah,
don't
I'm on
have
my
a
phone.
okay.
I'm on my cell phone.
You don't have any headphones you can put into your
Nah.
okay. We're just gonna go, folks. We're gonna do the best we can with what we got to
How
work with.
long hold on for a second. Let me see something. It's usually working. Hold on for a second.
No problem, brother.
I'm gonna drop.
So
I'm gonna drop out one more time and come back in. I'm gonna do something.
okay. So ladies and gentlemen, George is gonna come back in just a moment. I appreciate you standing by with us through some of the distortions in the video and the sound. That is, I'm sorry about that. I always like my sound to be pretty nice and crisp, but let me just say this to everybody out there. Okay, he's coming back in. Okay, hopefully this helps. Okay, George is back in. How's things going now, George?
I hope. I
Okay.
hope it's better.
Okay, everybody. Did that sound better? He just said a few words. Let's just go ahead and start talking, George. So where were you at?
Yeah, I'm saying that like we prove, like he says that the white man said that he civilized us. He gave us his name, his culture, his everything. He gave us the way he taught us the way of the world and the way we should be operating, the way we should be thinking. So all of our talking points, the way
Mm-hmm.
a lot of us think is off of your eccentric way of thinking. We're like white men in brown skin. So you hear a lot of these people, you know, a high value. They got a nice suit on. They driving a Benz. They caught up in capitalism. They caught up in the system that the white man devised in order for him to maintain power. So just think about it. Just think about this info, man, and let's just keep it apart. Whether it's pro-black, whether it's pro-coon, or the right, whatever they like to call themselves. These black men don't talk about power. They talk about joining another man's party and being under. They're not talking about power. When you ever hear Larry Elder ever come on there and talk about black power? Power. When? See, the white man in suit don't have to talk about white power because he owns every damn thing. He's the governor of all the states. He has more senators than anybody. He controls the banks. He don't. White power is when you go turn your goddamn water on, when you turn on your electric. That's white power. He don't have to say white power. The black Larry Elder, these other men, your Brandon Tatums. When you ever hear them talk about power? They don't want power.
Well, they normally use the black conservatives to.
Yes.
Black conservatives spend most of their time talking about what's wrong with the everyday black person.
Yeah, they don't talk. They're not talking about power. See, the Republican Party want power. The Republican Party wants to control the minds of the people, and they want to have ownership.
Yes.
They want to own privatized prisons, privatized banking. They want to own. When do you hear these black conservatives talk like that?
Right. And you hardly ever see black conservatives who are supposed to be high value, I guess. You never hardly see them really controlling major positions in the Republican Party. Now you did have Steele, Michael Steele, and when Michael Steele wanted to be his own man, they threw him under the bus and got rid of him.
They castrated him,
and then he got the hell out of the politics.
But that's what I'm talking about, because you're cool as long as you're under me. So then the question I have to ask, see, because I live in the real world, I don't deal with this YouTube fake shit. With no power, you're not high value. See, it's kind of messed up, because I did a video this morning called "Nigga Culture It's Not Black Culture" on my channel. But the drug dealer in the community, or the guy in the underworld, he's loved by the women because he has power in his community. He has power, he has influence, he has say so. Women are drawn to men of power. But these black men, they say, well, she always choosing these guys. She don't want me because you don't have no power. You're castrated in the system. You're only as valuable to that system as what you can put into it until they done with you. You're not competing against it.
So George, would it be like dressing up what do you call those birds that have the colorful feathers? Isn't it like being a bird with colorful feathers? You got nice clothes on, you look the part, you might make a little bit of good money here and there, but at the end of the day, you really don't have any power.
No, you have no power.
And then the money that you do make in corporate America is because corporate America is only tolerating you because our ancestors busted their asses to open up some of those doors to give your black ass opportunity.
Let me ask you a question. How many black men came to Nick Cannon's defense where he wouldn't have had to apologize? How many black men? And I ain't talking about Pookies and Ray Rays, because remember, Nick Cannon is not a criminal. He's a man that's worked hard for 20 years. How many black men that are so-called high-value black men of that ilk came to his defense to help him?
Well, I'll have to be fair here. I do believe that P. Diddy had offered him an opportunity to be on his whatever platform he has. I believe so.
That's different.
So I'm not sure.
No, he did, but watch this though. See, if Info Man got in trouble, right?
Okay.
Me offering you opportunity to come onto my ship, that's no power. You know what power is? Me coming over there and saying he ain't apologizing for nothing. And then George Macon come, another brother come, all with power. We come and stand in front of you and say we stand our ground, man. We ain't apologizing for that. And then we come and explain why we not apologizing. See, because that Jewish man said something very important to Nick Cannon, and a lot of people missed it, but I listened well. He said, when you step into the lion's den, this is what the rabbi said. When you step into the lion's den, you got to be prepared. He stepped into the lion's den and got devoured because he wasn't ready, and there was no so-called high-value black men with enough power to help defend that brother. Because Nick Cannon would be not a Pookie and Ray Ray from the hood. He would be a brother in a corporate structure where there's a lot of other black men that should have surrounded Nick Cannon and said, well, if they can do this to Nick Cannon, goddamn, they can do it to me too. Man, you can hear rap pistol on cotton. Them niggas ain't do nothing. The only person that said something was Ice Cube.
Wow.
Them niggas ain't do nothing. So what I'm saying is, I could put on a suit and talk my shit, but if I don't got the respect of my own brothers in my community where we're working together to build, then I'm not high value. Right. Because if my own people don't respect me, why the fuck you think they gonna respect me? I'm one mistake away from being kicked out.
Let me just say this. Everybody in the chat room, let me just let you know right now, because I know people are in the chat room. I want to let you know that I appreciate everybody in the chat room. DOD, AC, there's some people. We got Rob, AKA, is in Finest. We got Carl for President's in the house. Sister Brown is in the house. I think Shanita. There's a lot of people in there. Some I can pronounce names, some names I'm not too sure. Oh, we got Kujin 87 that's been in the house. I just want to say to everybody, and we got Maurice is in the house. Everybody, I know, sometimes I like to call people out. I'm sorry if I haven't called out a lot of people's names. It's just that I want to focus on what Brother George is saying. His time here is short because it's late back where he's at in the East Coast in Philadelphia. And I just want to, you just want to get your words out and you want to stay focused. But this does not mean that I do not acknowledge everybody in the chat room. Everybody in there is fantastic, and I thank you for coming over. Let me give you all a clap for being here tonight. And do me the greatest favor, too, and share this video in all of your social media, and I definitely would enjoy that. But then, George, let me ask you this fundamental question, then, brother. Are we in an appropriate situation as black men to be talking this high value stuff when there's so much stuff that we got to get right for just our community, right? So how can we talk high value when we still got boo-boo on our drawers?
We can't talk high value until you start what? See, let me lay it out like this.
Go ahead.
A lot of these so-called high value men on these channels like to talk about black women, right? And black women is not without fault. She got her own bullshit with her too, the same way we do.
Yes,
right?
Sir.
She has her shit. But this is the thing. How can I every day criticize the black woman when that black woman come out of the same house I come out? I sleep in the back room, she sleep in the middle room. She's my sister. She's just as fucked up as I am. She had the same fucked up mom or no dad, all the same experiences. So if she's fucked up, what does that make me? All of a sudden, so she's so fucked up, but I'm not. So, okay, so just think about this. Most of us, not all of us, but most of us achieve or go high up in this so-called world based off of trauma. Because we got to get the fuck out of where we come from.
Right.
I got to get out of the south side of Chicago. I got to get out of Southwest Philadelphia. Man, I can't wait to get out of here. So you work hard. So you get your education and your economics based off of trauma. So just because you got a suit on and you made it in corporate America, who said that you were psychologically fit or right? Who said that you was better than anybody where you come from? Just because you had enough smarts, you still had the same PTSD as everybody else.
The same issues.
And the point proved is, if you didn't tell the truth, watch this. The best of every group is who build communities, not the Pookies and Ray Rays. The best, the smartest, the brightest, and the most talented of every group, along with some underworld gangsters, is who build the communities, right?
Right.
How come they ain't built shit? How come all of these people, you know why? Because they're so sick that they develop crackatosis, acute white affinity syndrome, and I can't wait to get the fuck out of here syndrome. Now, all of us people that's watching me right now, right? If you live in Philadelphia, Baltimore, Chicago, Washington, D.C., Oakland, California, how many of y'all sat and watched a crime scene and said to yourself, I can't wait to get the fuck out of here? We all said it.
We've all said it. That's
We
right.
all said it. So those talented ones, they suffer they suffer from that PTSD. I can't wait to get the fuck out of here syndrome. And when they do it, they go into these institutions and they develop krakatosis.
Okay.
And that krakatosis is vicious. It's a hard thing to break because it makes you love them more than your own people. And that's what it's designed for. It's designed for you. That's why at the end of all my videos, I say I love my people more than they hate themselves. And I pray to the universal creator most high that these words enough to inspire you. These words enough to make you look at yourself in the mirror and make change. These words enough to make you look at your children and know you have to make change. I say that at the end of all my videos because I know the conditions of my people and I know the conditions of the people that I'm talking to. And so the thing is, whether you a Pookie and Ray Ray on the block with the hot Glock, or whether you a black man inside the corporate structure, we still suffer from PTSD because the guy on the block done seen too much, and the guy in the corporate structure experienced so much that he worked real hard to get out of it. But he's not void of the trauma and the drama. He still got fucked up family on the south side. So we're still going through certain things. So what happens is we're not building on no levels nowhere. Nowhere. And I'm drawing a parallel. So when you say you high value, I'm high value based off of trauma. See, I said all this to bring it home. I'm high value based off of I made it out of the ghetto. I made it out of North Memphis. I made it out of West Baltimore. I have a job now. I don't have no felonies. I drive a nice car. I'm doing better than the people where I come from. I have no power, but in my community, I'm doing better than them. So I'm high value.
Wow. George, let me stop you right there. Let me give a few shout outs to a few people that super chatted me here. We got my man Real Aaron Collins super chatted me. Thank you.
Thank you for the super chat.
And then let me see, did I miss some people? We got my man right here, Larry Anything Goes LLC. Thanks for the great content as always, information man. Brother, I appreciate that.
Thank you for the super chat.
Thank you very much for that. And then let me go ahead and say peace to Sister Brown Girl Bell. Thank you. She says great stream tonight. And then there's brother Antonio, $5 super chat. Thank you.
Thank you for the super chat.
I thank everybody for the super chats. It goes back into the program. And then we got a guest that came in the house. We got Psychopatheist that's come in the house. He says suits and ties don't make you high value. I know dudes fresh home from jail with a suit on filling out applications, and I know millionaires who you never catch with a suit and tie unless it's a wedding. That's from Psychopatheist who put it down out there. Brother, you made a very good point.
Tell the truth.
Let me ask you this, George, because to those out there that are going to look at this video and say, oh, them Negroes just hating. Oh, George is just hating. They're hating because this movement is leaving you all in the dust and the must and the crust. You Negroes are being left in the dust and the must and crust. You're jealous where the movement is going. High value is the thing now. And these Negroes on YouTube are just jealous. What would you say to people that would say that?
I would say that their version of high value is not going to go nowhere because it's not built on stable ground because it has no power in it. This is high value right here. This is high value. Redeveloping our youth into urban nerds.
Wait a minute. Let me put you front and center on the screen. There we go.
This is high value right here. Urban nerds. You see that black face? You see that brown face?
That's right.
Urban nerds. We take kids from the areas that we come from and we redevelop them. We create disciples. We teach them to be intelligent. We teach black intelligence back into the minds of young black boys. And I'm gonna tell you something. And I'm not saying that we're not focused on black girls, but I want everybody in the chat to understand something. We got to focus on our boys because our boys are the protectors and correctors of the community. Our boys are the ones that carry the seed that impregnate the women. So the most dangerous person to the black community is a wayward boy. Because either if he has no structure, no direction, and he has no correction, he'll be dangerous and he'll impregnate hundreds of women all over the community without a care in the world, and will never be there to provide sunlight and water. So a wayward boy is dangerous. So before you have black girls rock, you got to have black boys development. Because the black
say something right here. What you just said is right on point because I was going to ask you this question, George, and I want to say to Sister Topaz presence, Sister Nubian, she gave me a super chat. She's on the screen right there. Thank you for the not super chat, but she cash apped me. Thank you, sister, for the cash app. I really appreciate that. I was going to ask you, because I think you made mention of this in that video that you did. Why is it that a black man like yourself, who is building the community through the youth, mentoring, getting them on the right path so that they don't go to jail and prison, so that they may be the next leaders and they may create something that will benefit us, why is that not high value? Why is a black man who's a father, who is doing the right thing like yourself and stabilizing the community, why can that not be high value?
Because it went back to what we said. Their version of high value is based off of trauma. You coming from East Oakland, you coming from the west side of Baltimore, you coming from South Atlanta. You remember I said you suffer from I can't wait to get the fuck out of here mentality.
Can't wait to get the fuck out of here. And once you get out of here, you look back on that, you look down on that community.
Now listen to their talking points. I was looked over, I was picked on, I was this. Now I made it, I'm high value. But your high value is based off of trauma and drama. So what I'm saying is, listen, the black woman sleeps in the middle room, the black man sleeps in the back room, our mama sleeps in the front room. We come out of the same house. So what I'm saying is, I live in the real world. If you want a high value man, is a man that understands that he has to develop the boys coming behind him. So me being married for 13 years, my son, a lot of times you see my son in the video, my son lives in a home. He can get out of his bed and walk into the room and say, Dad, what's this? He doesn't have to call me on the phone. I'm there. I live what I speak. So I have my son, my grandbabies, my daughters, my other boy, my wife. Like the first aspect of high value is having a family of your own to show that you could be committed to something, show that you have sacrifice, you're willing to sacrifice for something, right? So now we go and we develop these boys, because if you want to create high value, you have to have a boy, you have to have young men that know their value. See, if I could just get on here and say I'm high value, but do I know my value? See, the thing is this, what I'm telling sisters is, we got to redevelop boys, because a lot of these guys that's on YouTube calling themselves high value are wayward men. They preach not being married, but this thing, just everybody just think, let's use common sense, man. If I'm teaching black men to not be married because we say we don't like the American system, but we still having sex. So I'm not married. I'm not preaching marriage, but I'm still telling men to have sex with women. All of that is potential baby moms, because we got undisciplined men, already hurt men. What makes you think that these men going to have disciplined sex? So we're already promoting dysfunction. So how can you be high value? High value men are men with families that teach the young men the importance of their seed. See, a woman can only get pregnant once a year. A man can get 50 million women pregnant in 1 year. So if you got a wayward boy, he's 100 times dangerous than any woman in the community. That's why we create urban nerds, and we got to develop the mindset of boys and create high value young men so they can grow into be high value grown men.
Right.
You got to get them young. You got to create high value young men so they know the importance of what it means to be high value. So now we don't see this. See, this is the thing. This is how I know that they don't know what high value is, because we sitting there having debates on what high value men as adults. We're supposed to already know what that is as young men, as teenagers. So high value should be a way of life, not something that we got to debate.
But see, George, you spoke of family. How many times have myself and yourself been on panels where guys are talking about women and marriage and all of this stuff, and they don't have a wife, or they've never been married, they don't even have kids, which means they don't know what it's like to be responsible for another life form other than themselves. They don't know what it's like to take care of a woman or a family, but yet they speak as if they understand everything about family and women, and tell you as if they're an expert. And in 9, 10 times when you're talking to some of these guys, you got underwear older than them.
But that's because I blame the audience. I don't blame the YouTuber. I blame the audience, because the YouTuber seeks your spirituality, meaning your attention, meaning your time. And you don't demand. See, I'll give you an example. People like me, I'm gonna be honest with you.
Yeah,
people
honest.
like
this is
me,
about truth.
Yeah, the truth. People like me, Brother Moses, brothers that's married, brothers that we show our wives, we show our children, our grandchildren. I work out. I do my videos when I'm running my
He
miles.
does. He
We
does,
show
folks.
we
He
show it
shows
all,
it.
right?
He's in good shape,
How,
folks.
how come when I go live, I only have 25 to 30 people watching? And I actually live what I speak. I show and prove. I created the Urban Nerves. I showed my LLC. I showed my 501c3 papers, everything. I showed us doing road trips with children. How come black women don't come support what we would consider high value? I don't have 300 people watching me when I go live. So and
Right.
I'm doing this to show a point, because it don't matter if they come to watch me or not. What I'm saying is these people are able, or even Brother Moses, these people are able to survive this way because our people are addicted to drama and bullshit. So when you got people really showing and proving, oh man, that's corny. I ain't watching that shit. Oh man,
Yeah.
I don't hear that shit.
No,
But
you're absolutely right, because it seems, unfortunately, and I got to get on our people. I got to get on y'all. We seem to jump to drama like a moth to fire.
yes,
We seem to like, and I know if I know right now, if I made my platform about drama, I know I could have all those many views. But I know the stuff that I talk about, that I deal with, is stuff that's not it's not over the top. It's not it doesn't make people say, wow, that's a car crash. Let's go see the car crash on Info Show. So I already know I'm not going to get that. But I
right,
would rather have people who are
right,
really down with my message than to just have a bunch of people that's there looking for
right,
drama.
right.
Okay?
So tell the truth. So what I'm saying is, and I see, yeah, I see you. So a man can come on here with a suit and talk high value and get 3,000 people to watch him. But everybody got a problem with what he's saying, but everybody watching. But if we come on, we talk about molestation in the black community. We talk about homosexuality in the black community. We talk
Right.
about PTSD in the black community. We're the
Right.
people. So these are black men that values their people, that's trying to promote high value men and protection in the community. But what I'm saying is, you people in the chat, y'all don't support it. That's why we having this conversation about high value men, because these men can talk this stuff about women and say things, but those same women will be right in that chat room watching.
Right. But this
This
is another thing too, George. This is my thing. Like I said, I think that black men outside of the platforms and on the platforms, this is my personal preach here. I think that we should be doing more than focusing on watching what someone else is doing, and you make your criticism, but then at the end of the day, after you make your criticism, what are you doing? So if you don't like what someone else is doing, then do something better than that. You know, and show that you can do that better, and that you can. It's about, if you're gonna talk about self-improvement and you don't like what you see, then you should make yourself the case study in doing self-improvement on yourself by saying, you know what, that person is wrong about what they're talking about. Let me show you by backing up my facts why it's
that,
not it's not
and
right.
that's why we created the Urban Nerds, because
Right.
I've been on YouTube for a long time, and when I was had my George Making One, when I was operating from the George Making One channel, you remember I used to go hard,
Yes,
call the
sir.
white man the devil, and I would have a bunch of people over there. I'm
Oh
howling
yeah.
and screaming and hooping and howling. Oh, I was, you remember me 2 years ago? This
Yeah.
white man and calling him a jackal and 366 Damien. I was going in.
Yeah,
People
you
was
was
tuning
going
in.
in hard,
I
real
got a
hard.
phone call from a respected YouTuber that I respect, and they told me, I'm gonna tell you, they told me. He said, stop going on there calling the white man the devil. He already know who he is. He don't need you to tell him that. Go on there and teach your people. So when I started the George Making 2 channel, I toned all that down. I toned it all down, and I started doing a history of African American inventors, remember? And I did a whole volume of that.
That's
And
right.
we got the part 2 coming with the Urban Nerds channel, because the Urban Nerds channel about to be unveiled. So then I start promoting more family stuff. More so, for me, I don't care if 10 people come to watch. I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing, because I want, if I influence one person, I did my job. If it's one young man that could see a George Making and say, damn, this dude been on trial for many different days. He been in trouble for this man. You mean to tell me all the stuff this brother been through? He been married 13 years. He got a wife. If this dude can take care of, can be married to a black woman, we come from it, any one of us can do. So he always got his son with him. I promote the images as opposed to what they used to see.
Yes.
So that's why I always make sure I got my son with me. I want young black men to see a brother with a son.
Yes.
It's normal. When my daughter's here, baby, come get in the camera. Yeah, I want them to see that it's a young black man. Listen, they call me a Pookie and Ray Ray. I don't speak with the that vernacular like, nah, I'm from the hood, but I'm a family man.
Right
I
here,
was
brother. Everybody in the chat, George Makem is a family man. And you have, how many grandchildren do you have?
about to be 4.
4. This is a man that has 4 grandchildren. He's a married man, a businessman. This man ain't no joke. He not on here talking it. He's doing it. Okay. What I want to do is I want to thank for I had let me see. G Scott, I have no leader. I thank for myself. Thank you for the super chat.
Thank you for the super chat.
And then this sister right here, I think your name is Shinita. I'm sorry, I'm bad with names, but thank you, sister, for the $19 super chat. I appreciate that.
Thank you for the super
I appreciate
chat.
everybody that came out tonight. This has been a success tonight. But let me read this by Brother Kenny. He says, salute Information Man and George Makem. You all telling the truth. Someone's doing drama, gets hundreds in the chat. Education less than the 50 lives views. And he's saying we're telling the truth. And thank you for the super chat too, brother.
Thank you for the
And
super chat.
that brother is a brother that comes in my channel all the time. He's been supporting me very consistently. We got brother D Durrell that's in the chat room right now. Peace to you. D Durrell is a therapist, everybody.
Yeah.
He works in mental health, and I'm sure
I gotta get with D Durrell, man. I gotta
you
D
know
Durrell.
what?
I gotta email you, man.
This is what I gotta do. Because D Durrell's a therapist, I want to get his point of view. I'm a therapist too, but I like to get his point of view. D Durrell, I'm gonna send you a link right now, brother, so I can get your point of view to add you onto the show as we get near conclusion. Because George, I know he's tired, he's in the East Coast. But George, you have anything else you want to add to, brother?
I got like another 15, 20
Okay,
minutes.
go ahead, George. It's your show. I'm gonna simply while you talking, I'm gonna put you front and center, and I'm gonna get D Durrell on here.
Yeah, it's just that, like I said, for the chat room, for you guys in the chat, the responsibility is on you guys. Like you know, a lot of us are not we don't watch as much TV no more. We're on YouTube all the time. So there's a lot of YouTube channels of people that's bringing good information. We're talking about good topics, but you got to support it. Like those channels flourish and they're able to come up with them topics because you guys support it. You guys talk about it. And we're addicted to drama. That's why I said most of that high value stuff comes off of the thought process of trauma, not nation building. Mm-hmm. It's I made it out, I got this job, I got this, but they have no power. Everything is about them, the individual. When every other man in this country of other ethnic groups move as they move as a group. The black man operates as an individual. Listen to him when they talk. It's all about I, me, and I. It's not about family.
But George, that's the opposite of what our nature is truly, what our history and our people is. Our history is a collectiveness. I am because you are because I am because we are.
Right.
All this talk, but when you look at the talk of high value, it does come from this individual perspective. You have to be in this bracket. You as the individual have to have these many this. You have to have this. You have to be a leader amongst men. It's all based on the individual doing something. Now that if you're a leader as a black man, that goes without saying, okay? You're going to do what's natural to you any damn way. As far as leadership, leading your community, working hard to be successful, whatever you do. I think success should be defined by you as the individual, how you feel. And we got D Durrell, the therapist, on. Let me do this, George. Let me mute you just a little bit because there's feet. Oh, where did he go? Where did he go? Where did D Durrell go? Okay, come on back in, D Durrell. But George, you get what I'm saying, brother. I may not be able to explain as good as you do, but you know.
Listen, when you on the East Coast, there's a lot of Mexicans coming in now, right? We never had Mexicans over here, but I remember seeing a couple like 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Now, when I go to South Philly, the whole by the waterfront down there in South Philly, like 5th Street down, ain't nothing but Mexican. The whole thing is Mexican. I'm like, God damn, all these goddamn Mexicans. But they come in, they open up stores, they take care of their people. We've been here forever. What's up? Like, listen, we know about systemic racism, but we got black people in all these positions, but black people don't seek power for their people. They go as individuals. So when Clarence Thomas made it all the way up, he cooned all his way up to the top, and his power, he went and got a white wife. He didn't seek power for black people. He went as an individual. Larry Elder goes as an individual. These other groups come in power. So what they consider high value is based off of trauma and drama. It's not based off of development of people. So my high value is based off of developing young black boys and creating disciples. So now when they become teenagers and grown men, it's not an argument or a conversation about what high value is. They already know it because they live it. They wear it. They live it. It's a culture. We got to create a culture for black men of what high value is.
Okay. Let me bring D Darrell in right now. And D Darrell, get your sound together, brother, if you can. I'm very stickler about sound. And we've had some sound issues tonight. Where you at, D Darrell? Okay, he's not there.
Yeah, he probably trying to get his sound together.
Yeah. D Darrell, come on, try to come back on in. Continue with what you were saying, brother.
Yeah,
George.
but it takes a collective effort. A lot of people don't have fathers in the home. So a lot of our arguments, a lot of stuff that we bring to YouTube has become a sort of therapy. Because I'm gonna tell you something, a lot of these black men never had an audience of people that would even listen to them. So now they have an audience, and they come on, they just say all kinds of weird and crazy stuff, man, and they don't get challenged like that.
Okay.
They can just say any damn thing. So I know the other brothers come on. Come on, so I'll beat up.
Okay. D Darrell, let everybody know your credentials, brother.
What's up, brother?
What's up to you, brother? I'm glad that you're here.
You say what, brother?
Let everybody know your credentials as a therapist, because I want you to give your professional point of view of this high value man, adding to the things that because George has been on fire tonight. But go ahead. Uh-oh.
I'm D Darrell. For those that don't know, I am a licensed professional therapist in the state of Texas. I do work a lot I specialize in mental health, but I also work in other areas such as substance abuse. I deal a lot with trauma, work in the foster care industry and so forth, CPS, group home for adult men.
It seems like you're cutting in and out, D Darrell.
When we speak of the high value,
I think you're cutting in and out, brother.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Go ahead. Can
you hear me, brother?
Yes, we can hear you. Everybody in the chat room, if you can hear, put a 1 in the chat room. But go ahead. I can hear you. We can hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes. D Darrell,
okay.
We can hear you.
All right.
We can hear you.
So,
go ahead, brother.
High value man. I want to caution everybody that is in arms about the opinion of one person. Okay, let's look at that. We're focusing on the opinion. This was.
I think you're cutting in and out, D Darrell.
This is just okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
now
but it was cutting in and out and it's borking a little bit. So what are you using, brother, that's causing these problems? It's borking now.
Business, and it's the hotel internet.
Oh, okay. You're in hotel.
Let me. I'm gonna log out, and then I'm gonna
log out. Come on back in. We got brother Chaos Rain is in the house. How you doing, brother? Chaos Rain, are you there, brother? What is going
Hello.
on with
Hello.
people's sound tonight?
No, what's good? What's good? What's good? I had to mute myself. I'm doing things right now. What's good? How you doing? How you doing, George?
Doing
Making? It's
fine,
been a
man.
long time.
George is on the panel right now. But how are you doing? How are you enjoying the conversation tonight? Have you had a chance to hear some of the things that George has been saying tonight? He's been on fire.
I only listened in for roughly maybe 45 minutes. I stepped away to go for when the stream started, like an hour and a half. So I missed like part of the rest of
Yeah,
the
yeah.
almost close to an hour, maybe close to an hour, maybe like 35, 40 minutes. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it goes back to these labeling. And I'm probably gonna do an upload. Me and Mary talked about this, and he did a different perspective about the high value thing. It's a good catchphrase. It kind of separates certain men to boys in, I guess, the space, if you want to call it like this. That's why a lot of men are at uproar with on what Mr. Samuels presented. They're very
Well,
much mad.
look.
Yeah. Mhm.
But to me, and I'm going to say this again:
Mhm.
if what someone is saying does not apply to you because you actually have your shit in order, then I don't. It doesn't make me get in my feelings or my emotions. I can simply just say I agree with this part, I don't agree with that, and I move on. Because there's a lot of things that people are saying on YouTube that I agree with and I don't agree with, right? And I feel like if I could do it better, then instead of me focusing so much on the person, I would just say, okay, I'm gonna do it better than that person. I can prove that I can do it better if that's what you really want to do. I think black men spend too much time in their too much time fighting with one another on YouTube, battling with one another. At the same time, by fighting, all we're doing is hurting each other's channels. We're never going
Mhm.
forward. Everybody, let me get this. I don't want nobody to get this wrong with me. Everybody's entitled
Let's keep it
to
real.
their opinions. Everybody's entitled to their critique. Because if you're going to put something out there, then people are going to critique you. People are going to critique me. And I have to have thick enough skin to be able to handle the critique of other people or the criticisms that I may get. You just gotta, and that's just the reality. If you're going to be on YouTube, you are going to be criticized, and for whatever you're saying that people don't agree with, and I get that. We got brother D Darrell who's back. Is your
Okay.
mic sounding better now? D Darrell. D Darrell going once, going twice.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I need, yeah. Now, D Darrell, go ahead with what you were trying to tell us the first time.
Okay. So I was given in reference to the this phenomenon of the high value man and so on, and I just wanted people to understand we're looking at the opinion of one individual of in regards to what is high value and what is not high value. I think that that particular topic in itself is a very subjective situation, and it's not a one size fits all scenario, because what is high value to one person may not be high value to another person. Also,
Right.
and also we have to understand that let's look at the presentation from a psychological standpoint from the type of women who are calling. Many of these women who are calling have issues. One of the biggest commonalities is their issues with maintaining a long-term relationship. Many of these women have issues with communication. Many of them have distorted um, um, sense of perception in regards to their own value, and also the value of men and how they're supposed to be, how they're supposed to function in a relationship. And I will give Kevin this credit. He does refer people to receive credit, to receive counseling or to receive therapy, which I do agree that some of them would benefit from that. But I think the focus is too much on the optics as it relates to physicality, meaning you have to be 5'5", 115 pounds. You need to eat lettuce, tomatoes, and go vegan and all this other crazy extremist stuff. That these are the things that highlight a typical show but it doesn't talk a lot about respect. It doesn't talk a lot about building. It doesn't talk a lot about the confines of everyday relationship as you develop more continuity to one another, to build a better life. It doesn't talk about the excuse me, the true foundational pillars that leads to a long-term relationship. We're caught up in too much of this about wearing a suit. You have to look like this, you have to look like that. Things of that sort. It's too so much is tied up in regards to the superficial aspects of it. And I understand that it is entertaining. I understand people are watching to see what Kevin is going to tell some of these women, or we're there to listen to see what the women are going to say. And let's be honest, some of this stuff is unrealistic. I mean, how many black men are making $350,000 a year? And if you are making $350,000 a year, that doesn't mean that you're necessarily going to treat a woman well, because there are plenty of $350,000 guys that mistreat their women. They don't show respect to them. They're not being respectable husbands. They're not being active fathers. That's only one aspect of it. And I think that needs to be more in regards to character, in regards to the of respect, in regards to being attentive, in regards to building a tangible relationship and having an emotional tie to that person that you're bringing into your life. And so these are things that when I'm in a marital situation, as far as counseling, those are the things that I bridge between two people that usually, if not being detected and treated, it leads to divorce. And so I also have to be suspicious of women who are quote unquote overlooking guys who make less. You understand? You know what I'm saying? Like, just because a guy makes $80,000, $90,000, he doesn't necessarily make enough to fit what lifestyle you claim that you're entitled to.
Right, but D. Darrell, you know as well as I know that women will pick different types of men, whether they have money or have no money, based on how that man makes that woman feel emotionally. Psychologically is the same thing. I'm repeating myself. Is something that man gives off that attracts her. That's why a lot of times you'll hear brothers on YouTube saying, well, why are these women getting with the Pookies and Ray Rays? There's something about Pookie and Ray Ray who doesn't wear a suit. And then don't get me wrong. I'm not, I hear a lot of this on YouTube. Man, I'm not really all shook up about wearing suits. That ain't no damn big deal to me. Hell, I'll put a suit on too. I don't care. If people want to wear a suit on, I don't care if brothers want to get on a panel and wear suits. What the hell is a big deal? It's clothes. Put some clothes on your ass, right? If you want to wear, whatever you want to do, be who you are. So all of that superficial stuff doesn't really move me. That ain't even what it was tripping me out. What's tripping me out, that's most from a professional point of view, D. Darrell, when you know this, is that you got women who call up these kind of programs and they're talking to somebody to get advice. And the next thing you know, you find out that they've got a husband or a boyfriend. That's a problem. If you got a husband and a boyfriend, then you should not be calling somebody, asking them for advice when you need to be talking to your husband and your boyfriend to work out whatever, or go get a professional like me and you who are professional, who are certified, who have been doing it for years. Because the problem when you start talking to people and they start letting out all their baggage, you know this as well as I know this, you have to have proper closure. And when you do, and when you're talking to people and they're shook by the things that you say, and then they just basically go about their way, that's not, in therapy, you don't do that. You don't open up people's shit and then let them walk away with that stuff unpacked like that. You unpack it and you let them walk away. In therapy, we work with people, and you know this, step at a time, and we have to have proper closure with them for every session we have with them. We have to have follow-up. And that's what's dangerous if I was to crack open this mic right now and start talking to women or talking to anybody and giving them advice about stuff, in which I'm not really certified. I'm not, and I'm giving them advice like I'm a therapist. And at the same time, you're kind of talking down to them. They're calling your show, of course. You didn't ask them to call you. I mean, you didn't call them, they called you. And then they begin to unpack all this shit about their personal life on
Yes.
YouTube. I've personally, as a professional therapist over 25 years now, and working within the prison environment for 18 years, working with kids as well and older adults, that's actually dangerous
Very dangerous.
by our professional standards, and you know that.
Yes, and the thing about it is that getting the wrong information can lead to an impulsive decision or behaviors that can be tragic, or it can have negative consequences that that person may not be able to get out of.
Right.
I mean, a person could listen to this guy and make a life decision off of impulse and bad information.
Right. What I want to do, D Darrell, right now, and I'm going to look at the chat as well. Let me go over to brother Super Mike, and Super Mike, say what's going on, man. Say what's on your mind, brother, and then I got to get back to our guest of honor, George Macom, because it's late where he is. He's in the East Coast,
right?
And we want to make sure this brother can get himself to sleep because he's been waiting patiently, listening to us flapping our mouths.
Yes,
but go right ahead, Super Mike.
Yes, sir. I just want to say that was a good show, and it kind of touches on Brother George Mason, the stuff that I just heard about what he said about Philly, about what you were talking about, how the influx. And it was just interesting. I was just in a neighborhood. It was predominantly Hispanic, Mexican over here in Stockton. It was a hood. And it just reminded me of the hoods back, in Detroit or wherever. But the difference is it looked like one of our hoods back in like maybe the 80s where we still had black stores and businesses. They have businesses, little fruit stands they set up on the corner. And, everybody patronizes them. It's ghetto. Things are run down. But they still have their corner store, and there's no Arab there. There's no Chinese person running the store. There's a Mexican person or maybe another Hispanic person in the Hispanic neighborhood running the Hispanic store. You see what I'm saying? And so my thing is, this ties into kind of what we're talking a little bit about tonight with this mentality of, oh, I'm high value. In other words, I'm superior. You see what I'm saying? And these others are inferior, right? This mentality, and it's kind of what we were talking about when you was over there on the other channel, pass it over. Some people feel that they have the superior status in life where they can determine who lives and who dies, right? Instead of, doing the civilized things and trying to actually fix and solve problems, right? So
Right.
I think this is the problem here that we learned, with white supremacist mindset, and it's infected us, and we just, like I said, it's just a good opportunity. I look at it as an opportunity that we have. I know it's bad to see it on YouTube, but I feel that it's actually a privilege that we have professional brothers like yourself, or people who have some kind of sanity, who are willing to actually be involved in these spaces and literally hear these problems and divert some brain power and put some leadership into, being some sort of standard, because everybody's not going to listen to people like you who are, I look at as a standard of decency, in these spaces. But a lot of people will. You see what I'm saying? So, even though it may seem like it's all dysfunctional and crazy, but this is what's out here, a microcosm of what's out here in the world. And I feel that's a blessing that we get to see it. And, like you said, some people get to put their brain power into solving it, putting solutions out there, like D. Darrell, like you, and other brothers and stuff. So, that's all I got to say. And the brother was spitting some real, like you said, it was hot.
Right.
And there was some knowledge, and I want to hear him spit the rest of it. So I'm out here. All right, peace.
Right.
Thank you.
Peace to you, brother. Let me just say this. Peace to Mahogany, who's come in the chat room. We got Sister L Boogie that came in, 6 Figure Days, Back to the Basics, Kujin's in the house. So many people has come through. I'm sorry if I wasn't able to And George, thank you. I was going to tell you that. Put your channel in the chat room, and when I get an opportunity, I'm going to put your channel link in the description of this video. Now I want to go over to George, and let me just say this. I personally don't think that people should get shook over what one person is doing on their channel. That's their business. What they want to do, what they want to talk about, that's their business. But we do have a right to critique what someone is putting out there if we agree with it or disagree with it. We do have the right to do that. But I'm not shook because we still need to focus on what we need to be doing, black men. No matter what, no matter whether it's high value, whatever it is, we still need to do what we need to be doing because we living in reality, right? We living in reality of what's really going on in our society and what's happening to black men. We got black men being killed out here in the streets by police and every damn thing else. We don't have time to be sitting up here talking about I got a top hat on, umbrella, and I'm top of the day to you. You know, we got black men being killed out here. That's just my opinion. We got work to do. George, take us home, brother, with your words. I know it's late for you.
Yeah, I mean, I think, it's pretty much what's been said. It's just like, man, nation building, man. Like, our situation is a little different, and I'm just telling y'all that a lot of these brothers that support that stuff, you got to look at the manosphere and then look at the conversations. I've been battling with the manosphere. I was battling with the manosphere on them panels for like 2 years straight, man. And a lot of that stuff is based off of trauma and drama. They even admit it. So the high value thing is just now worded differently, but they was talking that stuff back when they was comparing the so-called educated. Remember the educated lane?
Yeah.
And the Pookie and Ray Ray now is just repackaged into high value man. It was the same shit 2 years ago. Same argument. I destroyed it all back then. And I mean, it's listen, man, as a man, your work is what you are to your community. I mean, now if you operate as an individual, fine. But most men in this system of capitalism operate as a group. And D. Durrell knows about the psychological thing that goes on in our community, man. Most of us suffer from PTSD. A lot of us also suffer from crackatosis.
Well, there's an old saying, you've heard this. Well, this is something that I like to say all the time. You can put a duck in a suit, right, in a tuxedo, but it's still going to be a duck. If that duck hasn't gotten over its trauma, and that duck hasn't gotten over the things that you've been talking about tonight, George, all it is window dressing, but you're still dealing with a sick person. Who's peppered in all this shit.
You can put perfume on it, cologne is still gonna stink. And that's why if you notice when we come to YouTube, black YouTube is full of drama. Just, oh man, the disrespect that black men show each other on here is just unbelievable. But it is believable because it's a representation of how we think and how we feel towards ourselves and each other. And I've seen videos where D. Durrell talked about this kind of stuff. I've talked about it. So, whether it's in the manosphere, whether it's in the so-called pro-black community, black men for a lot of just don't get along. We just not in agreement as to which way we should go. And even if you go back to the so-called high value men, and when I get into the history of like Booker T. Washington and Du Bois, these would have been high value men at that time. They didn't get along. Garvey and Du Bois, Martin Delany, these people didn't get along. Henry McNeil Turner, they didn't get along. So what I'm saying is black men under this system that we've been under for a long time, we haven't figured out like what we're doing, which way we're going. And a lot of our stuff that we do is based off of trauma and drama. Right. And it shows. So
what you say, giving your wow, this is a powerful. If you were to give our diagnosis for black YouTube is that we like the drama because black people are still dealing with trauma. And because we're dealing with trauma as a people, that's why we come up with goofy phrases like high value, red pill, blue pill. We come up with all these little things to cover the pain,
Yeah.
to prop ourselves up and say, well, this is what I am. I'm Superman, I'm Batman, all these little phrases
It's
to
well,
cover up the trauma that we are really living through.
it's normalized dysfunction. Because see, you got certain females that come on here, all they talk about is black men. Black men this, black men that, black men this, black men that. But with no accountability on themselves. You got black men that come on here and talk that. So it's remember I said on YouTube and black YouTube, you can be the butcher, the baker, the candlestick maker. You can be whatever you want. You can, as long as you got a polarizing voice, black people, because we're like magnets to drama, because we suffering from trauma.
Yes, sir.
We run right to it. It's negative. Oh, I'm going over. Oh, they talking about being married. Oh, that's boring. Oh, they talking they talking about, they calling black women bitches. Oh, I'm on that. Oh, they talking about high value and I'm better than the Pookies and Ray Rays. Oh, that's gonna be decent. Like anything low vibration, we connected to it. Anything high vibration, we regurgitate. We push it out. We push it out, and that's. Okay.
And guess what? And that's why, as long as you're on YouTube, if you want to stay on here, YouTube is going to keep pushing the envelope with their rules and their regulations. And eventually they're going to say, you know, we're tired of these Negroes on YouTube going back and forth. We're gonna have to get rid of this sector. We're gonna have to snatch them up one at a time.
Yeah.
Because YouTube is getting to the point now where if you start doxing somebody and it's proven, they're gonna get rid of you permanently, where you cannot ever make another account. There's a lot of changes coming down the pipeline, and people better be aware of that.
Well, I'm gonna say this before I get off.
Yes, sir.
This is my thing. I don't have a problem with a black man being high value, but it depends on his definition of what a high value man is.
Okay, repeat that. No, George, repeat that again.
I don't
It's very
have
important.
a problem with a black man considering himself high value, but it depends on how he defines himself as a high value man.
Okay.
It's just, if listen, the brightest and the most educated of men of the community and women build communities. So if we want to be high value and have standards for ourselves, I'll give you just a scenario, right? When I met my wife, now I'm from the hood. Me and my wife, we grew up in the hood. We grew up in the same hood together, right?
Mm-hmm. I'm listening. We're listening.
Super hood, Southwest Philly, violent as hell, right? And I grew up raised by my dad, but I grew up in the hood. Her mom's side of her father's side of the family in North Philly, super hood, super ghetto, right? But her mom's side of the family, when I first saw them, I didn't like them, right? I thought they was snobbish. I thought they was prude. I thought they think they better than everybody. They talk proper, and they all of her aunts and everybody's married, and the men are in the family. They got nice houses and they got expectations. And when I go there, they want to question me, and they all in my face. They ask me what I do for a living, and I was turned off by that when I first met my wife, right? But the more and more I was around them, I began to be normalized. Like, wait a minute, damn! Like all your aunts and uncles, they all got big ass houses down in Virginia and Florida, nice cars. All of them been married 25 years. Their children are married. None of their children are criminals. And I just said, damn, you know what? This is like high value black people. Like they none of them are married white. None of them are coons. They all black. All of them pro black. They just into the church, but they got standards and values that they have for themselves. And when I got with their niece, they wanted to know who the fuck I was. Because that's the way they structure a family is. That her grandfather lived till he was 97. Grandma lived till she was 100. They from down in Virginia, same as my family. And they got rules and standards the way that they live. You go into their home, you don't hear a lot of cussing at all. You don't hear no cussing at all. Just now, me and my wife did, but her mom and them side of the family, no. Just a different, and I wasn't accustomed to that because, like I said, I came from the hood, and I had an appreciation of that to the point where one of her cousins who's like old enough to be one of her uncles. I told him one day we was all in Jersey at one of their $500,000 homes, sitting out in the yard, and I told her cousin, I said, if something was to ever happen to me and my wife, I want you to take my son.
Mm-hmm.
I even said that over my own family because of the structure. The structure. Not that they think, not that they better than anybody. They just have proper structure, man. And if we can if I can see models of black folks like that I see, then cool. These people, like I said, they're black, they married black, they in black issues, but they just have standards. Black, a lot of us as black people, where we come from, we got real low standards for ourselves because we don't see ourselves as high value. And then when we do consider ourselves high value, it's shrouded in material items, not a lifestyle.
But wait a minute, George, because I like that you said that. Hasn't that been a problem that black people, I mean, you could take it back to the Superfly days, man, when people were wearing the big hats and I mean, hasn't that been part of our problem as a people in general? That I think Millie Fuller Jr. said this. You probably heard him say this. He said that black people are only impressing other black people. When black people get to talking about cars and money and fancy things and all of this, white people are not impressed by that. You're only trying to impress black people because white people are not impressed by us because everything that we saying that we got, they're the ones in control of the system. So black people in general have had this problem where because of the trauma, because of the pain, like once again, we come back to this again. We put on the costume. We put on the mask. What's that famous poem? We put on the mask to hide who we really are. It's a famous black poet. God, I think he was out of the Harlem Renaissance. When you wear the mask.
Langston Hughes?
Yes, I think Langston Hughes. We wear the mask. Somebody in the chat room who knows that. So in a sense, we're doing the same thing in the 21st century, I believe, with the whole high value thing. We're still trying to put on a mask to disguise ourselves from society, disguise ourselves as something that we're really not, because we're really in trauma. And we're trying to make ourselves feel good, like putting on perfume or cologne.
Right, but that's why I said our idea of how value comes from material items to make us feel better about ourselves because we're really suffering from trauma. So, and that's why I drew up the scenario on my wife's side of the family because her Uncle Jimmy, well, I also have an Uncle Jimmy, but her Uncle Jimmy, when I saw him buy all this land in Virginia, and he bought all these acres of land and then got all these houses built on them for his siblings. They all in their 70s now, and he's about to be 80, right? But he bought this stuff for his family, and I said, damn, I want to be like him. And I told him one day, I said, I want to be like you. I told him in his garage where he has all these muscle cars. I said, I want to be like you. He said, what do you mean? I said, like he's looked at in the family as like the go-to guy. He's the leader. Pop died, and he took over. And all the other his siblings and sisters, they all got husbands. They all got their houses built from the ground. But he's like that go-to. He's like Pop now. He took over. He's the oldest. And when I look at that, I say, damn, this man being old enough to be my father, I wonder how can George make him be like him? How can I emulate that? So now that's my template. I looked at him and I said, I want to be like, and my father raised me, but my father raised me the best way he knew how. And, I'm grateful to have my dad. But when I looked at this man in his structure, I said, I want that in my life. So for me, when I look at Mr. Jimmy, Uncle Jimmy, my wife's uncle, that's a high value man to me. That's the definition of a high value man to me. Super successful, retired, and stayed black. He didn't have to coon out to become an executive in a company. Own a couple $500,000 homes. Got land in Virginia. Still a black man. Never lost his balls. All of that. So when I seen that, I said, okay, you know what? You can go into the Donna Society, get what you got to get out of it, and bring it back to your people. Because I seen a man do it, and he ain't on TV. So that's my template, Uncle Jimmy.
Okay.
So that's
George,
I don't see nothing else.
Brother George, thank you for coming over tonight, brother. I appreciate it. And let me do a clarification here. I put a link in the chat room, and clarification is that let me see here. The poem was written by Paul Lawrence Dunbar. We wear the mask that grims and lies. It hides our cheeks and shades our eyes. This doubt we pay to human grill. With torn and bloody hearts we smile, and mouth with mirrored subtitles. Why should the world be over wise in counting all over tears and sights, nor let them only see us while we wear the mask? Let me go back into this again. We smile, but oh grim Chris, our cries to thee from torture souls arise. We sang, but oh, the clay is what veil beneath our feet, and long the miles, but let the world dream. Otherwise, we wear the mask. That's what we've been doing, folks. We've been wearing masks. I'm sorry. Black YouTube is in trauma. We wear these masks and we self-indulge or say we beat our chest when we can talk negatively towards each other, when we can come up with funny little terms to define who we are as men, women, and otherwise. All it is a mask, a disguise that we're wearing to try to put away the trauma and the pain that we're really going through. And we hide it when we come on YouTube. We hide it probably in our own personal life. That's my analysis based on what we've been talking about tonight. Now, people can disagree with me, and I got no problem with people disagreeing with me. I'm not afraid of that. Brother D. Darrell,
Hey, let me say
Ray,
this.
any last words? Any
Yeah,
last
let me
words,
say,
brother?
yeah. Thanks for having me on, man. We got to do it again.
Yes, sir.
D. Darrell, I definitely got to get with you, D. Darrell, man. We got to do a stream together, man. Yeah, and we just gotta keep the faith, stay positive, keep the positive view. Uh, give Black people that come to watch YouTube some alternative other things that they can come watch. It ain't always got to be about the drama and the trauma and everything else. So if y'all come over to my channel, man, I'm talking family, children, and when we do talk about trauma, we talking about the trauma that go on. We ain't judging. We talking about things that go on in the community every day. Um, me and my brother Black Ice TV, brother Richie, we go in on that kind of stuff, So, and I know we're not going to get a lot of people over there because on our channel we force you to look at yourself in the mirror and know you have to make change. We deal with the internal stuff. So, thank you for having me on, man.
George, you'll see me over there too. I got to get my ass over there more often, brother. So you'll see me over there in the chat, supporting you, coming on the panel, whatever you need me to do, brother. And you free, and I think you got my number too, George. You can call me anytime. And when I come back east to Philadelphia or something,
come holler at me, man.
I definitely have to see you in person, brother. So I appreciate you.
All right, thank you, brother.
Thank you. Everybody, let me put this up on the screen. This beautiful thumbnail. This is George. Make 'em get on code. Black Power. George. We've got the therapist himself, D. Darrell, and Chaos Reign. D. Darrell, any last words? D. Darrell.
I'm sorry, I ain't unmute. What I like to say, man, is that you never disappoint me on the topics, man. You definitely always give some very consistent with good content, good topics, and so on. I do think that as stated, man, we have to identify individually for yourself and not just go by just one particular criteria that's based on an opinion. And it's up to us to individually define for ourselves what type of high value person you want to be. And that goes for men and women, not just one sex, but for everybody. As a community, how we can become more high value and do things from the long term that's going to benefit us. So I just think that this particular topic is something that is going to continue to be talked about because it gets a certain amount of attention. But I think that in our community on Black YouTube and abroad, I think self-improvement is very important, and we have to identify those things and ways in which we can improve ourselves long term. So other than that, I appreciate you for bringing me on, and I look forward to coming back and collabing with you or whatever in the future.
Yeah, we gotta do some more shows together. But D Darrell, every time I do a show like this, man, your timing is superb because you come in at a time when we need to have a perspective of a man of your professional background and experience. I don't know what it is. I don't know if you have an antenna and you're saying, okay, this is the topic that I need to come to Info's channel for this particular topic. It's like you always come to my channel at the right damn time and moment, man. I don't know what it is, but it just seems to be that way when it's something that's right up your wheel alley. So I appreciate that.
Appreciate it. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and let me give the Lady B has super chatted me $100. Lady B, this is what I got to do for her. Everybody in the chat room, I know it's late. Write down the name of Lady B's channel. It's Lady B. You see it there. And I still got to get her on the channel to talk about, she deals with bees and stuff. She's a beekeeper. She understands nature, understands these insects, these beautiful things that give us honey and pollinate our flowers, our things of that nature. But I got to get you all to subscribe to her channel. So write the name of her channel, please.
Thank you for the super chat.
Write her name down on paper so that you can go back into the search engine and subscribe to her channel. So this is what I'm going to do for you too. And Platinum has just super chatted me as well. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that.
Thank you for the super chat.
This is what I got to do for both of you. But Lady B, beautiful super chat. That's the highest super chat I've ever gotten. So I really appreciate that. But let me do something for you, sister. Let me give you some fireworks and all that good stuff right here, right now. Hang on there. And here we go.
Thank you for the super chat.
All right, sister, thank you for the super chat. I really appreciate that very much so. Let me go back into here. Brother Rain, Chaos, you have any last words for the night?
Hello? Yes.
Yes.
Last
Any
words.
last
Good
words for the
stream.
night, brother?
It was good stream. Good stream, bro. Good stream. Good stream. Good stream.
You crack me up, man. This dude is like the most low-key cat on YouTube. He just is like, well, you know, it was a good stream. It was a good stream.
I mean, well, what more can I say, man? Like, I was listening in a good portion of it.
I'm not clowning you, man. It's just that you, as long as I've known you on these YouTube streets, you're just the most mellowest, low-key guy, man. So I know it ain't no shade when you say that. It's just that that's how you are. You're just really mellow.
Yeah, man. I try. You know, that's how I am. You know, I'm just waiting for this channel to get back up and running, man. This is just ridiculous, man. YouTube getting my damn nerves. All these.
Yeah, I hear you, brother.
And
well,
I feel it. But go ahead. I'll tell you later. But that's
okay, man. We'll talk, man. When you do a live, I'll come on your channel too. But let me get on out of here. It's late for everybody across the country. I need to lay my butt down as well. D. Darrell, peace to you. Once again, I want to say peace to the chat room. Everybody in the chat room has been fantastic tonight. You've made this program go tonight. You've been, everybody in the chat room has been fantastic. And our guest of honor, let me put his picture, his thumbnail back up there. The brother, the one and only George Makem. Make sure y'all check out his channel. Get on code Black Power, Black First. And do me the biggest favor again. Check out Platinum's channel and definitely Lady B. Everybody in the chat room that's in this chat room, everybody listening should be writing the name of her name down so that you can find her in the search engine and support her. My man Rain, he has a channel. Check him out as well. And D Durrell has a channel. Check him out as well and subscribe to his channel. Check him out. D Durrell is all you got to do is put in there and Chaos Reign, same thing. Put that in the search engine and you will find his channel as well. So I thank everybody for being here tonight. We're doing it and doing it good. And I'm always going to do these kind of programs to give a different perspective on these issues.
Information, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'm checking your channel now just to double check. I'm not sure I got a tool. How many just guess if I have to put the channel if necessary. I'm checking right now. I'm on my phone, so I can't do it on my phone.
All right,
I'm
man.
just checking. I'm checking if I have a tool. Let me check.
All right.
Okay. All right. Well, Rain, I got to end the program, though, brother. Get with me. You can email me at coldwave06@gmail.com. It's on my channel page, too, if you need to email me as well. And I think I got your email as well, so I can email you, too, Brother Rain. But I got to get ready to go get out of here. Let me get my my exiting music going. So take care, everybody. Peace to you and love to you. Peace and love. Peace.
Issues, I know I got issues. Hate you, then I miss you again. Selfish, I can be so selfish. Spend more time when meeting your friends. Please forgive my attitude. I want my cake and eat it too. But a little grace would be enough for me to prove. Baby, you the remedy. You're my mirror, I could finally see. Bringing out the best in me, yeah. I don't want no problems, but I know I got a lot of work to do. Baby, I be holding grudges, can't let go of any mistakes. Distant, sometimes I get distant. Stay away as long as it takes. Please forgive my attitude. I need my cake and eat it too. But a little time will be enough for me to prove that baby, you the remedy. You're my mirror, I can finally see, bringing out the best in me. Yeah, I don't want no problems, but I know I got a lot of work to do. Baby, I'm not perfect, but I know I'm worth it, working out my issues with you, with you. My highs and my lows is part of being human. Can you weather the storm? I'm starting to believe you can, 'cause baby, you the remedy. You're my mirror, I could finally see, bringing out the best in me. Yeah, I don't want these problems, I know I got a lot of work to do. Baby, I'm not perfect, but I know I'm worth it, working out my issues with you, with you.
Information is power.
You love it when I get so high and drop that ass so low. Make you sit right here. Now you can't go back home. You love it when I get so high and drop that ass so low. Make you sit right here. Now you can't go back home. You love it when I get so high and drop that ass so low. Make you sit right here. Now you can't go back home. You love it when I get so high and drop that ass so low. Make you sit right here. Now you can't go back home.
I'm dranked up and I'm danked up and I'm hella faded. You bend it down and you poke it up and you elevate it. I'm dranked up and I'm danked up and I'm hella faded. You bend it down and you poke it up and you elevate it, you elevate it.
I came over, I ain't sober, I'm still drunk, that's hangover. Might run it back when this page over. You the best thing, I done slaved over. Gon' arch you back and been way over. It's overdue for that understressing. Over him, now you underdressing. Call me up and I come finessing. Like, ooh, we shot it, what it do, what it don't. Baby, you a queen, you can move how you want. You was rocking with me when I couldn't stay afloat. They ain't never saying nothing wavy to a boat. Like, eyes up, look at me, now I'm the captain. Brought the camera, time for action. Split the legs just like a fraction. Tuck the napkin, time for snacking. You a motherfucking meal. Tell me that it's mine, baby, tell me that it's real. Hit it to the max, well, tell me how it feel. It's gonna be a minute, cause I'm in it for the thrill. Make her feel like heaven, she gon' put me in the wheel. And willingly, I wanna do anything she wanna do. I ain't even wanna boo, but this is what the karma do. It's hard to be apart from you, cause ooh, I
love it when I get so high and drop that ass so low. Make you sit right here. Now you can't go back home. You love it when I get so high and drop that ass so low. Make you sit right here. Now you can't go back home.
I'm dranked up and I'm danked up and I'm hella faded. You bend it down and you poke it up.
You are listening to Information Man. Please make sure to subscribe to his channel.
Peace to everybody that made this possible tonight. To everybody in the chat room, no matter how many people I have in the chat room, all of you are special. All of you are important. You motivate me to continue bringing content of this nature to the table for us to have a community discussion about issues that are going on in the community. Thank you. Have a good night. I'll be back with more presentation this week. Who knows? Take care. Love you.
You are listening to Information Man. Please make sure to subscribe to his channel.